Hello there. I'm so excited you're here joining us for a little talk on vibroacoustic therapy. My name is Kate Kunkel, and I've been doing vibroacoustic therapy in one form or another for 22 years as a therapist, as a vibroacoustic harp therapist, and as a brain health coach, because it's an important part of my therapy for people who are working to prevent dementia and to help reverse it. So I've been doing this a long time, as I said. And it's been a lonely journey at many times because the modality itself, the technology, has not been shared widely. But now we have someone out there in the world who is helping get out the word that we can change our health and our lives with the healing power of sound. So I'd like to introduce you to my friend and the co-founder of inHarmony Interactive, Craig Goldberg. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks so much for having me here, Kate. Hello, hello, and hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We are so fortunate at this point in time to be able to introduce people to a technology that has been largely hidden since the beginning of its journey 60 years ago. Craig, tell us about what you do and how you came to fall into the wonderful world of vibroacoustic therapy.
You know what's really interesting is that I'm starting to tear up as we're having this conversation right now. Like, it's that powerful of an emotional draw for me to be connected with you and your quest and what you're doing, to be collaborating so much on both the day-to-day application of vibroacoustic therapy, which is what I want to talk about because that's really the mission and the vision for inHarmony Interactive, inHarmony Media, and what we're doing. It's to adopt vibroacoustic therapy and really what is a certifiable and I don't want to say regulated because we're not there yet, but guided and very specific use or application of our technology that we're adopting for the mainstream and the everyday application and the everyday use. So the balance between what you've been doing for the last 22 years in a very, I would call it a formal application and drive behind the technology and its application on very specific use cases for very specific protocols. And what inHarmony wants to do, which is to really take that, adapt it, broaden it, soften it, and then apply that to what somebody without a little bit of training could actually utilize day in and day out, not worry about doing any harm, and have a very broad application. There are still some concerns which we talk about. However, generally speaking, we want to soften and dampen the application of vibroacoustic therapy and make that adaptable and usable for anyone every day in their regular life, to calm and relax the nervous system, to take a break from life, to reset themselves so that they can be better equipped to handle the day-to-day challenges that are thrown at every single one of us, without treating something necessarily specific, although that same technology that we provide with the right training as a certified vibroacoustic therapy practitioner through your course, you can really unlock a whole new level of the power of our technology. So what's really interesting to me is that I got introduced to this because I had an experience. I got on a sound lounge. I had this incredible experience and I went, I need to share this with the world. More people need to know about this. And in learning and understanding the true power and potential of this technology, going through your certification course, learning and doing it with 15 other folks at inHarmony, a bunch of our affiliates and distributors went through that course at the same time. All of a sudden, we learned about the depth and the power of vibroacoustic therapy. Whereas our technology, we want to make this as simple and as broad and as easy to use as possible, because at the end of the day, on our technology, you're listening to music and we're creating an amplified system for listening to that music.
So that's something I'm really excited to share because I've been doing this as therapy. I had different systems during my many years of doing this in Canada, the United States, and now in Ecuador. And it's kind of difficult for people to comprehend how this technology can transfer this healing power. I've always kind of said it's like you're just applying a sound directly to your body, and think of it like a wave being created by a pebble dropping into a pond. The wave of the sound goes through your body and affects every molecule in your body, whether you feel it there or not. We're making every cell sing, so to speak. And it was difficult for people to get their hands on this technology because, firstly, there weren't a lot of people creating it, but also it was very, very expensive. And certainly you have the Sound Lounge, which is a little bit out of many people's reach, but you have the meditation cushion, and there you go. And it's an amazing way for people to be able to tap into this power in a very incredible way.
Yeah. Look, it's our driving force. We want more people to have access to this technology. And yes, it's complicated to make. Look, it's a simple process and it's simple technology, but when you start to extrapolate that out through a manufacturing process and distribution and importing and storage and warehousing and shipping and the website that it takes to drive it and all of the different things that complicate running a business, that's what increases the cost on all of our products, right? For Dom and myself, we want our products to be as least expensive as possible. This is a passion project for us. It still needs to, it's actually turning into quite a large business, but this started as a passion project for us. And really our intention is to make up for in volume what we can in a lower price and really start to scale this thing and get it going. So we pride ourselves on being in stock all the time, being ready to ship in real time, thanks to the Amazons of the world that have now got us ready to prime ship and ready to go. So we want to maintain that and make sure that we can evangelize the technology and then make it available to as many people as possible. We get a lot of comments on obviously the price, and I always reply back and just letting everybody know that, look, this is the cost of what it takes for us to create and sustain the business behind what we do and evangelize the technology, teach, train, and educate on the technology as well. But the mission and the vision for us is we have this incredible technology. We want more people to have access to it, either by purchasing it from us or by sharing with you distributors and businesses that are local to you where you can utilize and have access to that. And many of those folks have gone through your certification program, Kate.
We can all use this personally. It's a great technology to use personally. Once you start offering it to other people as a therapist, it's really important to understand the power of this and what frequency works well for what condition and that sort of thing. And I really encourage people, if you're going to be offering this technology and this amazing healing modality to people outside of your immediate family and friends, it's important to get this training. Craig is absolutely right. Chances of you hurting someone are pretty slim. I mean, I've had a couple of experiences when I first started that were a little bit scary because I didn't know these things back then. But so you can't really hurt anybody, but you also may not be giving them the very best that this technology and this modality has to offer. There are so many things we can do as trained therapists to make vibroacoustic therapy an accepted modality. We have lots of science, many years of research and case studies, mostly because it's pretty hard to double-blind placebo-control sound, but you can certainly do many case studies and actually see the power of vibroacoustics for everything from pain reduction, stress relief, to actually reversing the effects of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and even things like trigeminal neuralgia. We have an amazing, powerful modality at our hands. It's really good, like any powerful modality, to be trained in it.
Kate, do you want to just touch, I mean, this obviously is going to go up on your website. It's going to be here on my website, right on the science and research page. Can you talk about some of those contraindications, some of the areas to be more concerned, just so that folks know, hey, if you're embarking upon these conditions, you're going to want to talk to somebody that's trained, or you're going to want to make sure that you get this certification. And we don't have to go into the great detail, but just some generalities of things to look out for.
Happy to do that. So one of the things that I had an experience with is when somebody had a psychotic episode on my lounge when I first started this almost 22 years ago. And it was quite frightening for me and for the client. And so that is one of the contraindications, because with this modality, we can get into a somewhat altered state of consciousness. And if you are not trained, or if somebody comes to you and they have had psychotic episodes in the past, the concern is that they may have another episode when they go into that state. So that's one contraindication. We really have to be careful for everybody's protection. If somebody is suffering from blood clots, we don't want to do anything to dislodge those. When we're vibrating the person's bloodstream with the technology and the water, all the fluids in the body, we don't want to dislodge a dangerous blood clot. So we have to ask those questions. We also don't like to treat people who have active inflammatory response, like with rheumatoid arthritis. I personally have defeated rheumatoid arthritis, but I can tell you that when it would get into first grade flare-ups, vibroacoustic therapy was painful and it did not help. So there are situations like that. Migraines, we have to be very careful how much. We can also overstimulate the body if people are hypersensitive to sound or vibration. And we just have to be careful what frequencies we use and what intensity we use. So those are just a few of the examples of things we do need to be careful about when we're offering this modality to people.
I would add open wounds, right?
Yes.
Just an open cut post-surgery. A lot of folks want to use this as a modality to help with recovery post-surgery. You want to wait for those wounds and holes to close prior to using this technology. And really anything that we didn't touch on here, pacemakers are okay. But again, in that high risk, I would put somebody who has a pacemaker into a high risk category. And anytime you're in any high risk category, you want to back off and you want to start with as low of a volume and vibration as possible.
Yes.
And I think that's really the key. A lot of people jump in and they go, I love the way this feels. Let's take it to 11. And unfortunately, even though that feels fantastic, that's where the challenge comes in.
Yeah.
And you brought something up that I also really want to emphasize, and that is vibroacoustic therapy is stimulating to every single cell in your body. So you want to be cautious of how stimulating that is. It can cause a detox symptoms. It can cause things in your body that haven't moved for years, in some case decades, to all of a sudden start to move and flow. So you want to be cautious after a session as to exactly what you're feeling, checking in with yourself, and just know that especially with vibroacoustic therapy, less is more. Starting off easy and easing your way into multiple sessions, follow-up sessions, giving your body enough time to recover and for you to really see what has been moved in your body emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. There's a lot that can happen, and we just need to be conscious and aware of that, especially as even if you're just hopping on your friend's unit, you still want to be very cautious of the potential impact of this technology, and a short period of time goes a very long way.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, the most benefit we get from vibroacoustic therapy is 22 minutes. It's not going to hurt you longer than that, but 22 minutes is when we get the most response from that. So it's not like it's a long, you don't have to have an hour long, like a massage or something to really get in there, because I like to say we're giving every little cell a massage. It's moving, it's getting embraced, it's being nurtured.
I think the most exciting part for me about vibroacoustic therapy is that it feels good.
Yes.
Right? We're talking about some of the contraindications. We're talking about some of the things to be concerned about. But what we're not talking about is the vast majority of cases where it's perfectly fine to let it roll and rock and roll. And yeah, there's a powerful therapeutic that's included here. However, it feels really good and it's enjoyable, it's relaxing, it's calming, it's soothing. And for a lot of parents that I know, I'm a dad myself, it's a nice 22-minute break from the chaos of life, and that has its own value as well.
That's it. Exactly. Just some time for you. Some you time is very important. And you know what? We can also help the little ones feel a little calmer by putting them on the vibroacoustics. There's nothing to say you can't help your kids feel calmer and happier on vibroacoustics.
I'm sure people can reach out to either one of us if they have any questions, and we'll put contact info somewhere around this video. And Kate, take it away. Close
We
us out.
sure will. Craig, thank you so much. Never a better proponent of the vibroacoustic therapy than Craig Goldberg. I'm Kate Kunkel, and I hope to see you soon doing some vibroacoustic therapy.